Oh my goodness. Here we are, round 12. No better way to close out this series than to bring you a race here at Watkins Glen. We're adding the boot in, 65 degrees tonight, track temperature at 104 degrees. We, folks, are bringing you the last race of our inaugural season here at the All-American Racing Series, brought to you by John Ross here at the American Racing Network. This is the finale, folks. This is what it's all about. We run every season. We certainly appreciate everybody hopping into the chat, talking to us this year. Certainly appreciate it. It has been a heck of a kickoff season. Some great things that we're going to announce here for the following seasons to come, but we still got a little bit of business to do. As you see, we've got a couple of minutes left here in qualifying. Again, we are at the Glen, 3.36 miles of a track. It is going to be a hot and slick one here. I do believe that these drivers really know this track. If there is one American track that a lot of drivers are going to run, it is going to be right here at Watkins Glen. So let's see if we can hide this, and we're going to take a look right now at how we stand here in qualifying, and we'll pull up your official results when that ticker gets there to 20 minutes. But right now, Blake Scott is going to be your pole sitter with Mark in second. That has kind of been the routine all season long, as these two drivers have dominated that front row there in qualifying. But with Blake Scott dominating the points, there still is a battle here for your second place, and we're going to pull that up right now and let everybody take a look at it. Let me see if I can hide this tower so that it doesn't overlap each other. But as you look right now, Blake Scott with a commanding lead. All he had to do was show up, and I'm not even sure if he had to show up tonight. So we are going to crown our champion here at the All-American Racing Series, and that is going to be Blake Scott this year. He is out here on the track looking to pick up yet another win so far on this season. Mark Scott is in second place, but here is where the battle comes in, folks. Jeff Perchowski not that far behind him. So all of the marbles are going to be laid on the line tonight here at Watkins Glen for your second place. So one of those two drivers is going to take home second, the other one third. So we will keep an eye on that as we go throughout the night. Miles Gilsinger is fourth. Kurt is going to be in fifth. Trevor O'Neill in sixth. Wade Moskowitz in seventh. Daniel Sheffer is going to be in eighth, with Nicholas Cody in ninth. I don't believe we have him out here on the track tonight, but Angel Rodriguez is going to round out your top 10 here in points. So as you see and how they stack up here, this is going to be a barn burner of a race. So again, very happy to bring you to this series finale here at Watkins Glen. Again, I am John Ross here in the booth with you one last time for this season. And this will be my last time calling this series. It has been a blast. I certainly appreciate everyone out there in the chat that has supported us all the way throughout this season. We do have some very exciting things going on, as it looks like Cody is going to put together yet another fantastic season 2 here. We are going to change names. This series is going to go to the Slipstream Racing Alliance as we go forward, because we're going to mix it up a little bit and take these drivers off of U.S. soil and running in some additional races. So I believe we're going to visit the spot. There's going to be a full schedule, and Cody has been kicking around the thought process of potentially making a multi-class race where we've got GT3s and some LMP2s out here on the track at the same time. And don't look now, but we might also have an ARCA series coming to Slipstream, and that could be on Wednesday nights, so stay tuned for that as well. All right, let's see if we can get over here, as we now have the qualifying results. We can show you the official results here for your very last race here at Watkins Glen. Blake Scott taking your pole with a 145-184. Mark is going to be second. Trevor is going to wind up third here on our starting grid. Wade Moskowitz in fourth. Kurt is going to be fifth. Jeff Perchowski, again, Jeff and Mark are in a heated battle there for that second place. So be on the lookout for those two drivers getting close to each other. Mark Samanchik, good to have him back tonight. Josh Perrin is going to be in 8th. Angel Rodriguez starting in 9th. Manuel is going to be in 10th. Good to see Manuel back as well. Leroy Koblenz in 11th. Daniel Sheffer starting 12th. Noah Zimmerman is going to be in 13th. Roy starting in 14th, and your league owner there in Cody Williams, not posting a time, will be starting in 15th on the grid tonight. And it does look like we've got a couple of cars that have decided to bring themselves down, so let's see if we can get our eyes on them. And we are going to back our intro music down just a little bit here, folks. We're going to pop off these results, and as we always do, we're going to have your time and tower up here on the left-hand side, and then on the bottom right-hand corner, we are going to have your battle box as we do every single week. Again, that highlighted yellow number is going to be the driver that we are highlighting. As you can see now, we are on Jeff Perchowski. That at the bottom right is going to show you a relative on who's in front and who is behind. On the top left hand, that is going to show you what their best lap was and what their last lap was. So we will keep an eye on all of those things as we go around. And you can see Blake and Mark out here, and these are in 2 different paint schemes tonight. And we are going to try to, give me just a second, folks. I'm going to make sure that our trading paints is showing this, because we do have some additional things that we are going to want to discuss tonight about these drivers, and especially these Scott drivers. And it does look like we are waiting for a connection here with trading paints, so that might be why we are not seeing these paints on these cars yet tonight. And hopefully trading paints will come back up for us. And it does look like trading paints does not want to work for us, but we will get into that a little bit later on tonight. I will keep everybody abreast of where everybody stands, even though you might not see those paints that you are used to. I will keep that called out for you. And we're going to look at this just one more time to see if we can get trading paints to spin up for us. And it does look like that might be down. All right, so as we set this field, Blake Scott, Mark Scott, Trevor O'Neill are going to be your top 3 here as we come around. Blake Scott has been your dominant driver all season long. Now, this is a track that all of these drivers know very well. They have raced this track a number of times. It comes to this service on a consistent basis. So all of these drivers know it extremely well. I expect that you are going to see some heated battles all the way throughout this racetrack tonight. One and two, the Mustangs are getting ready. You can see now just swerving back and forth, trying to get a little bit of heat in the tires. Appreciate everybody joining us here live out there on YouTube. It has been one heck of a season. We are going to bring 15 cars down this racetrack for one more time. We're going to have about a 4-week kind of lull, and then we are going to be back for a season 2 with Slipstream Racing Alliance will be the name. As you can see them now coming out of that boot, getting ready to get these things fired up. Keep an eye on this Mark Scott, Jeff Perchowski battle throughout tonight, as these two drivers are going to be just mere points away from each other for second and third respectively on your points for the season. And here we go. Pace car is now off. Blake Scott bringing them down one last time here for the season, and he is on the loud pedal. Here we go. Taking a fantastic drive already into turn 1. Looks like Mark Scott's going to peek underneath. Everyone is going to get through turn 1 without trouble, it looks like. Blake Scott up the hill, some nice elevation here, really hard sweeping left hand. Yeah, Caroline already there in chat. I'm excited. Let's go. Yeah, last race, Caroline, of the season. You have to be excited for that. And we will continue to work on this trading paints to see if we can get the actual paints here, but we will call these drivers out again. You can see them highlighted in the yellow on the left-hand side as we're highlighting Blake Scott out here in front, about a 0.4 of a second lead over your second place of Mark Scott Kurtz. Now we are highlighting here, he is in this Simu Cube machine, really on the back of Wade Moskowitz. Wade has had a fantastic season, showed a ton of pace, has gotten himself faster and faster and faster. Looks like we show Mark Szymanczyk as Crash. Let's see if we can go back here and take a look, see what happened to Mark. Mark in this 6 black and blue Porsche. Oh, there you go. He's just going to get off, little bit loose under braking, slide it, and just make some pretty heavy impact on that left-hand side. We're going to go right back up here to this fight here. Oh, and there is a wreck live. Oh, and that is going to pick up Wade Moskowitz, Daniel Sheffer in a massive wreck. We're going to have to go back and take a look at this one. Wade looks like he got tagged in the rear on the entry of that turn. Coming out of that carousel, hard under the braking zone. Oh no, and he just turns left, almost like the steering wheel just shut off on that car. My goodness. And he is going to be fighting his way through the pits already. We're going to go back up front. We will keep an eye on Wade Moskowitz. Detrimental last race of the season. You know he was looking forward to this one. Blake and Mark, just like usual, tied bumper to bumper as they go around this track. We're going to go back here and let's take a look at Daniel Sheffer, starting to really put some pressure here on Angel Rodriguez. Again, I do apologize for the trading paints not showing up their normal paints here. We'll keep trying to refresh that as the night goes along, and hopefully that will come back online for us, but we will continue to call them out for you. These two drivers battling, really, Angel, we've talked about him several times this year, just so consistent, so easy on the throttle, really taking care of that car every single race. Daniel Sheffer has had his moments where he has shown a ton of pace, and he's going to shoot this off to the right-hand side here of Angel. Not able to get that job done just quite yet, but this race is going to rage on. Kathy said, I love the Glen. Have a good race, guys. Yeah, Kathy, it is going to be another barn burner. I have that feeling. And Caroline said, boo for the last race. Yeah, we're looking forward to next season as well, and we'll talk a little bit about that as we go through. She said it's been her Monday night thing while cooking dinner. We certainly appreciate you tuning in, Caroline, every single week. It has been a pleasure. Here we go again. Daniel Sheffer still putting the pressure on the back end of Angel Rodriguez. Angel able to get through that tricky little switchback really quickly, putting a lot of space between him now and Daniel Sheffer, doing a great job through that carousel bus stop. Folks, as you look at this timing tower up at the top left-hand side, you can see that Blake Scott has went purple last lap. That is the fastest lap turned by any driver out on the racetrack that last lap, and that was a 1:45.275. Not too far behind him, Mark Scott with a 1:45.315. So even though Blake has went purple, not that much quicker there than Mark. So Mark is still within a couple of seconds. Now that gap up to 1.9 seconds. So it looks like Blake's starting to extend that a little bit. Oh, you see Manuel Kohlscheider back there behind Daniel Sheffer. making a little bit of contact with the wall. And now you can see Leroy Koblenz starting to put some pressure on Manuel. Manuel, with that impact a little bit earlier, has allowed Leroy to start sneaking back up on him. We're going to take a quick look. It does look like Trading Paints is still down right now. We're going to go back up here to this battle for 4th position. We are now on board with Kurt. Kurt having to give way there to Trevor O'Neill. Trevor's going to take that bus stop wide. He's going to cut that. That will definitely be a slowdown for Trevor O'Neill. And we're going to see if he's going to have to pull over and let these drivers go by. It does look like he will have to. He's going to try to run that inside line. And there you have it now. Kurt going to go back to the inside of Trevor. That Porsche really able to get through those tight turns very, very well. He's going to gear up. They're going to go side by side. Trevor O'Neill to the inside. Kurt over to his right. Kurt will have the preferred line going into this turn. Does look like Trevor, just with a little bit more horsepower there in the Acura, he is going to take that turn extremely wide again, opening the door here for Kurt. Kurt still on the right-hand side. Tight little hairpin here, and then you'll have a left-hand turn. If Kurt is down the outside, I believe he'll have the preferred line going down that front stretch. That has allowed Jeff Perchowski and that vet to get up into this battle. Jeff now trying to take advantage. He's going to put it to the right-hand side there of Trevor, as these two are going to battle all the way down the front stretch going into turn 1. Kurt hard on the brakes. I think he's going to get that pass done over Trevor O'Neill. Jeff now slotting himself right back into 5th as this battle is going to continue to wage on. Trevor getting a fantastic run through that uphill. It's going to be on the outside of Kurt. Kurt's going to slam the door. They're going to get right back through this bus stop. Trevor, again, taking that really wide that last lap. I believe that did give him a slowdown. And it looks like now Kurt able to get a little gap, just a small gap there on Trevor. Jeff, again, putting the pressure on as Jeff now up 1 position over his starting spot. Oh, and it looks like Trevor's going to get off in the grass. That's going to open the door for this vet. He is going to have the preferred line on the right-hand side of Trevor going into this turn. Hard braking zone. Trevor is going to really get on those brakes. He's going to shoot that wide. These two drivers side by side through this really sharp left-hander. Again, this is where Kurt was able to make that pass on Trevor before. If he can hang to the outside, he's going to have this right-hander going in. Oh, and he's going to cut Trevor off a little short and get that preferred line through this last turn. So now Jeff Perchowski up to 4th. All right, as this battle is going to slow down just a little bit, we're going to shoot right back here up front where Blake and Mark are running together. And this is going to take us to the point as it looks like we have a little bit of a break between battles. And I want to tell you a little story, folks, as we talk about racing and we talk about iRacing. And I can tell you that iRacing is one of those simulators, games, however you want to call it, where it's not just, you know, like everybody else, buy the PC or buy the Xbox or the controller and put a game in. It's one of those things that you have a passion about. And a lot of those passions start with really how you were raised and what type of sports you were really I guess you would say you were involved in when you were a young kid. I can remember my father, who was a Marine for 20 years, was a drag racer. He absolutely loved cars, you know, built drag cars his whole life. And I remember as a young kid going to the racetracks and helping my dad take the drag car off of the trailer. And man, that is just really where I fell in love with cars. I remember flipping a 5-gallon bucket over and watching him work on the car at night because my mom wouldn't let me go out and work with him because she didn't want me to get hurt with all the tools and stuff that were around. So, you know, when you get cars and racing in your blood, it's hard to get it out of you. And that's really where a lot of these iRacers come from, is not only do they come from that background, from really what they were taught as a young kid, but it's racers that don't want to spend the money on real race cars that come out here, get a rig, and are able to race, or those that still race, and this is where they fill their off season. But a lot of that passion comes from their parents. And you see Blake Scott sitting up here in P1, and you know a lot of that passion for cars and what he does came from his father that is sitting right back here in second place. But make no mistake, not only did he do that, but this gentleman here running in second did the same thing. His father, a big-time racer, really brought him to this sport. And not only was he a big-time racer out on the track, but he actually come and was an iRacer as well. And it is a shame that you don't see this here with the Trading Paints, but Mark Scott tonight has a tribute to his father that really brought passion for iRacing and racing in general and motorsports. And it's something that him and his father shared, that Blake and Mark share, that 3 generations of Scotts that are here, out here on the track, share together. And they have shared ever since each one of these were young men. And it is a great thing to be able to see father and son out here on the track, even if it is on a simulator and not actually in real life, sharing these moments. As much that Mark will have, and if you can see in Trading Paints, Mark has a tribute to his father on the car here for the last race of this season in the All-American Racing Series, to give tribute to his late father that showed him the passion that it took to get out here and race these cars, to be a motorsport, to have it in your blood, to come out and race, and to show that to his son, where they can come out here and share these moments and bond together. Even though it might be on a game or a simulator, these are bonding moments that these two fellows will never forget. So congratulations to Blake and Mark Scott. Blake won for being able to take this victory, but Mark for having his heart full tonight as he has a tribute on that car to his father, and as he sees his son running there in front of him with a full heart. Fantastic job to these Scotts. And I just want to bring that up. And if we can get Trading Paints up, we will be able to show that for everybody to look at. But just want to make sure that everyone is aware this is a family tradition, and congratulations to these two folks here racing. All right, now back to the racing. Let's go back to Jeff Perchowski, less than a second behind Kurt. It looks like Trevor O'Neill has started to fall back just a little bit to these two that were battling just a few laps ago. Jeff Perchowski starting to run him down. Now that gap just less than a second at 0.8. Now 0.7 of a second. And he has a lot of work to do. Remember, these folks have to come down and do one more pit stop before this race is over. So that is going to certainly mix things up, but Jeff is going to try everything he can do to get to the back end of Mark Scott, because that is where he needs to pick up the most points to get that second position in the points. But nothing wrong with a podium in either way, as he is now fighting for that third position, now only half a second behind Kurt Basler. I'll tell you, Jeff has really shown a lot of mettle so far this year, has had some fantastic runs throughout this season. You know, we've talked a little bit offline and outside of this about, you know, what it really took to be able to get this Corvette up and down all of these racetracks. Because remember, everyone, you know, here at this series this year, you had to pick your car, you had to stick with it for every track that we went to, and so you didn't have the opportunity to switch cars. So Jeff decided to pick the Corvette, not simply because he had run it a lot, but he just wanted to pick the vet. He liked the car, loved the look of it, loved the sound of the car, and he wanted to challenge himself. And really, you know, you can see Jeff throughout these races get quicker and quicker and quicker as he starts to learn this vet a little more and a little more. And a car that you think you don't like in the very beginning becomes one of the better cars for you at the end. And the last time that I talked to Jeff, he really started to fall in love with this Corvette and loves the way, the handling characteristics, loves the braking on this car. So he has really started to like this thing, and it has shown in those finishes. And he is now starting to creep in as he is within draft range of Kurt now. And this is your closest battle that we have here on the track. Everyone else at least a second apart. Your last lap time, Blake putting another 3/10 on Mark. That gap now 2.39 seconds separating those two. Kathy saying we are definitely a racing family. Yeah, Kathy, most of us are. I think if you talk to really anyone that's here, there is something that has really driven people to get out here, not only to broadcast it, but to race it, to buy the equipment, to get, there's something that has brought people to iRacing. And I will tell you, I know that passion. I feel it in my heart from my family. So I can only imagine what it would be like, if my son were out here racing this. So, just a great job to you and your family being so tight and making that happen. Let's go back here to 10th, as now we have a battle. Leroy Koblenz is in 9th. Noah Zimmerman is in 10th. Noah now starting to chip away at Leroy Koblenz. This McLaren working on the back end of Leroy and his Acura. And I'll tell you, Noah's had some fantastic runs throughout this season as well. I've seen this driver continue to get quicker and quicker and quicker at every track that we go to. Some of these tracks really suit some drivers, some of them do not. And I can tell you that he is able to find himself running strong at every one of these. As now we're going to go over here to Trevor. Trevor deciding to come down pit road here with quite a few minutes left. He's got about 42 minutes left in this race. Very interested to see. I don't see any damage on Trevor's car. So maybe a small change that he wants to take, maybe a little bit more damage than what we're able to see, is he is going to have that thing up on jack stands and putting 4 tires on it. So we're going to go back up here now as this battle again for the 3rd position. Still staying hot. Jeff just really in the tire tracks of Kurt. Kurt doing what he normally does, which is show a ton of speed. And folks, if you're out there and you know Kurt, that's that blue and white Porsche. Normally, that checkered blue and white has a ton of speed and has really been one of the quicker Porsches out here this entire year. Doing a fantastic job. Starting to pull away now a little bit from Jeff, and we're going to go back here to 5th place, Angel Rodriguez. Angel putting a lot of time in this week here at the Glen, starting to get a lot of pressure here from Daniel Sheffer, but this is so far Angel's best run that I have seen him on. Daniel starting to put a ton of pressure on the back end of Angel Rodriguez. This little left-hander here is one of those spots, and we're going to go on board with Angel. One of those spots that you can really gain a lot of time or lose a lot of time. And let's see if we can find out. There we are. Let's go around with Angel for a lap. Oh, Angel overdriving that entry to 1, missing that braking zone. That is going to open the door for Daniel. He is going to have the inside line here going up this hill. He's going to get up on the curb, trying to give Daniel plenty of room. That pass is going to be made by Daniel Sheffer, put him up to 5th. Angel back now to 6th. You see that car just a little understeery on the back end of that bus stop. He really needed those front tires to grip so that he can make that left-hander. Oh, let's go over here. I do show a wreck from Jeff Perchowski battling for third. Oh, he's going to get in super hot. Lots of front brake. Oh, that is going to be a pretty large impact there to the right rear of that car. He's going to get this thing going again. That's probably going to bring him down pit road. As you can see now, everybody's going to start jumping on Jeff at this point with that damage to that right rear. Daniel Sheffer now moving up to fourth. Angel Rodriguez now on the back of Jeff. Not too far behind, Manuel starting to sneak into this picture. Manuel wanting a piece of this action as well as all of these drivers battling for fourth spot. And there you see it, Jeff now going into the pit to get those repairs done. Kurt now securely in third position. Big shocker, big change of events, folks, is now Jeff Perchowski was one of those that was going to battle your second place driver, Mark Scott, for that second place in points. Now with that spin has probably put himself out of contention for a podium tonight and put him back securely in third. As now there's a switch over. Manuel going after Angel. They're going to go through the bus stop together. Angel's going to back off, give Manuel that spot. So Manuel now picking up fifth position. Angel back to sixth. Leroy Koblenz in seventh. Noah Zimmerman in eighth. Rory, we haven't talked about him so far tonight. Just kind of out here on his own. Rory sitting in ninth position. He is up 5 spots from where he started this race. Again, he's about 15 seconds behind Noah, but about 20 seconds in front of Trevor O'Neill. That had to come in, and we saw Trevor earlier make a really early pit stop, starting to battle his way back. Jeff Perchowski's behind him, and Mark Samanchik behind him, as all 3 of those drivers, well, Jeff and Mark, having some issues getting into some of those tire barriers and having to get some damage fixed. Wade Moskowitz now back here in 14th. He is down 10 spots from where he started. Remember, Wade, hard impact into those tire barriers, having to come down, get that fast repair done. As now Angel Rodriguez is going to dip down pit road 23 minutes into this race to get his service done. So we're going to go back up here, reset now. Blake Scott up 3.5 seconds on Mark. Last lap at a 45.376, Mark at a 45.477. So both of those drivers extremely close in lap times. Blake starting to sneak away now, not only with this race, but with that championship. I believe that was wrapped up probably 2 races ago. But still a lot to prove as he is out here once again dominating in front of this field, turning some fantastic lap times. Both of those drivers, him and Mark, the only 2 drivers sub 46 that last lap, and both of them in the low 45s. So they are putting a ton of time on these other drivers. We talked a little bit earlier about Angel and that great drive that he is having, but this gentleman right here, Manuel, has come back out here with a vengeance at the Glen. He is starting to reel in Daniel Sheffer right in front of him in 4th place. That gap now only 0.8 of a second. Mark Scott is coming down pit road to get service completed. That is your 2nd place driver down pit lane. Looks like it was a nice clean entry. Manuel is going to be your next driver coming down. He was just about 0.8 of a second behind Daniel Sheffer. He's going to come down and get service. Blake still out on the track. Your leader, he started from the pole. He has led every lap so far. Last lap turning a 45.772. So you can tell there is a little bit of tire wear. That purple lap of 44.906, last lap of a 45.7. So there is a bit of tire wear that is happening here. And remember, this is a hot track. As we're going to see if we can hide this, we're going to pop up your track temp here. And you can see that track temperature right now, 105 degrees. So that is creating a bit of tire wear. We're going to see what Blake does here coming across this start-finish line. If he does not go in the pits now, I want to see what this lap is going to look like. Kurt has taken over second position. Daniel Sheffer is going to be in third. Leroy Koblenz now in fourth. Noah Zimmerman in fifth. Okay, here you go. Blake is going to come down pit road now. And I believe him seeing Mark come down pit road has really created that need for him to shorten this and not cut this race exactly in half. Kurt is now down pit road. That is going to turn that lead over right now to Daniel Sheffer. But your battle here currently on the track is going to be for your second position, as Leroy has it. Noah Zimmerman behind him. Leroy's going to come down and get his pits completed and turn that battle over. Noah Zimmerman now is going to lead your lap. Noah having a bit of a blinking issue. All right, so folks, as we go through these pit stops and we get this thing cycled back around, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back with you. All right, we certainly appreciate everyone joining in tonight as we wrap up the season here at Watkins Glen. We are now on lap 17, 30 minutes into a 1-hour race. All of your pit stops have been completed, and we cycle back around to Blake Scott is going to take that lead over now, 3.2 seconds ahead of Mark. Rory now in third position. Don't believe Rory has come down pit road just quite yet, but we do have a battle here as now we saw Trevor coming in quite early to get that pit stop completed, has played a little pit strategy. He is now on the back end of Kurt, battling here for fourth position. These two drivers only 0.3 of a second apart. As you can see, that Porsche really able to get into the turns very well. Rory now going to be able to take that thing down pit road, but the power of these Acuras down the straightaways, really noticeable here. Trevor showing low. It looks like Kurt is going to give him that inside line so they can get the drag race up the hill. This is going to be a really tight left-hander coming up right here. Both drivers able to get through. Now it is going to be a drag race here into the bus stop. And this is one of the more dangerous places to be side by side as Trevor. And it looks like Kurt is going to back up and let Trevor take that. Trevor now going to go pretty wide, open the door back up for Kurt. This race not over as now Kurt looking to the right-hand side of Trevor. Trevor's going to have your inside line. Kurt with a little bit of a blink there. And it looks like he is almost clear, not quite clear of Kurt. He is going to be able to get that pass done here on the uphill. So put Kurt back to fourth. Trevor now up to third. Showing a lot of pace as he was coming down pit road. I believe it was about 18 minutes into this race. Able to make up all of that time, come back out, now put himself in third. He is 16.5 seconds away from your second place driver of Mark Scott, but nonetheless a great drive so far for Trevor. Kurt still with a slight blinking issue behind him. We passed the 33-minute mark, 60-minute races. All 12 of those races, we have been at night. We have been in the rain. We have went to Indy, Daytona, Watkins Glen. We have been all over this country bringing you one race after another, interruption-free here every Monday night. And it does look like this battle is still going to wage on. Trevor really good through the bus stop. You can see him using those curbs to his advantage. The Porsche is not really able to clip those curbs quite as well as the Acura is. But man, that Porsche is really quick when it gets in draft behind this Acura. And Kurt's able to bring himself right back up to the back bumper of Trevor. This is your closest battle here out on the track. That battle for first and second, Blake up 4.4 seconds over Mark. This is your battle here for third position. Both of these drivers already had their pit stops completed. So they will be running this thing out to the finish. Not too far behind both of these drivers is Mark Semanchik. He is a lap down. We saw him wreck a little bit earlier. And then behind Mark is going to be Jeff Prochowski. Jeff, we saw him back that right rear into the tire barriers, jump down pit road, and get that repair done as all of these drivers have a fast repair. Kurt really selling that thing off into turn one. Trevor getting a nice drive out of turn one, putting a little bit of space between him and Kurt, but this battle is far from over. If I know anything about Kurt, he is going to dig in, get those elbows out, and drive this thing as hard as he can to try to get that podium position back from Trevor. Trevor, one of three drivers last weekend to pick up a win in the GTP class at Sebring 12-hour. Him and Cody Williams, your league owner, along with Josh Perrin that's in the field tonight, able to pick up P1 in their split. Did a fantastic job. Rosalie out there saying, stay in it, Trev. Yeah, he pit a little bit earlier, about 18 minutes in, so I do believe that he is going to be okay on fuel. Oh, I appreciate that. It has been an absolute blast calling this, and it's been an honor broadcasting for you you all here on the American Racing Network. I am certain Cody has some really big things that's happening here with the league next season, and he is going to bring you a top-notch broadcast crew that is going to push this thing to the next level that you all are going to be extremely excited about. But I am glad that you all tuned in with us and stayed with me all season long. I certainly appreciate it. This still your tightest battle out there on the track. Now 0.6 of a second will separate your third place driver, Trevor, and Kurt. So I've heard. Maybe we'll see you on the track next season. Maybe I might come out and run from time to time. Road is I'm more of an oval racer than I am road. These gentlemen are certainly much, much better than I am, but I might come out and turn a lap or two. Yeah, absolutely. Daniel Sheffer now showing in 6th position. Manuel in 7th. Manuel with a fantastic drive. We saw him a little bit earlier with those pit cycles were going around. Had worked his way all the way up to 5th. Angel has had a great run as well. Noah Zimmerman in 9th, and Leroy Koblenz there rounding out your top 10. 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th, all at least one lap down. Rosalie saying oval is fun too, but boy, does it sound exhausting. I will tell you, you know, being in these sims and racing, not only racing but broadcasting, it is edge of your seat kind of stuff because you know, these are really hard to drive. Any of these cars are really hard to drive because to be competitive, you absolutely have to put your car on the edge of wrecking every single lap. As you can see, these cars bounce around. We have seen wreck after wreck. We saw Blake spin at Long Beach. We saw, you know, Mark, Trevor, you know, all of these drivers, Jeff Perchowski, everyone really put these cars on the edge and push them past the edge that created wrecks and accidents for them. So I will tell you that these things are really hard to drive and they're hard to broadcast. When you're done with them, there is a sense of fulfillment, but man, you are really exhausted. It is the last thing you want to do for the night. Then you're ready to crash out. Yeah, I heard you yelling in the background. Yeah, I certainly get animated and you know, because I am a race fan first and foremost. So when I come out and I watch these drivers, as you can see, this battle still starting to heat up once again. Kurt not letting go of Trevor as we knew he would not. Now only 4/10 are going to separate these two drivers. Oh yeah. Yeah, if you ever watch my stream when I'm actually racing, you know, I get very animated. I certainly enjoy it. All right, we're going to walk through the field as this battle looks like it has kind of simmered down just a little bit. Jeff Perchowski, as we talked about a little bit earlier, coming in and getting some repairs done, has battled his way back up to 5th place now. And he is looking at the back end of Wade Moskowitz. Wade going right into that tire barrier. It looked like maybe his wheel shut off. Head first into there, blowing that engine up, having to come down and get the fast repair has put him way behind. But Wade will have pace in front of Jeff here. Jeff is about 7.5 seconds behind Kurt. So I believe that battle between Trevor and Kurt is going to be your battle for third. I don't believe that Jeff has the time to be able to catch both of those drivers. Daniel Sheffer has had a fantastic drive all throughout this night, kept this thing extremely clean in that 329 Porsche. Now about 4 seconds behind Jeff and about 4 seconds in front of your 7th place driver of Manuel. Manuel now in 7th place, worked his way all the way up to a top 5 before having to go in pits and get that pit stop done. Angel Rodriguez has had a great race, has been in some really good battles already this race. About 19 minutes to go, so the fight is not done. As you can see now, Noah Zimmerman right behind him in 9th. So this battle is going to be getting a little hot as we go through. Hopefully Wade's cat didn't have anything to do with his wheel shutting off. Well, I believe Wade every time likes to say that he has to battle his cat and everybody out here on the track. So let's hope that that wasn't the case, but very well could have been. Leroy Koblenz with a great run tonight. Good to see him back. A lot of front end damage there on this Acura for Leroy. As you can see those scuffs there on the blue flames that he has, but he is solely in 10th position. He is 19 seconds behind Noah, but 19 seconds in front of Roy. So plenty of room out back and in front for Leroy. So he's just now out here turning some laps. Now this battle still waging on. It always seems like here at the All-American Racing Series, we wind up to a battle before these races are over. This one doesn't look like it's going to be any different, as Trevor able to get around Kurt with some pretty aggressive driving now. Kurt starting to battle back. That Porsche doing really fantastic down the straightaways in the draft of this Acura. Trevor able to get Kurt a little bit under braking, and the horsepower of that Acura helps him on those elevation changes going up these hills. These drivers extremely close in lap times. Trevor last lap turning a 45.69. I'm sorry, 45.3. Kurt turning a 46.2. So Kurt even a 10th faster than what Trevor was last lap. That gap now at 0.6 of a second. Look like this battle for 9th and 10th, I'm sorry, 8th and 9th has cooled down a little bit. It was inside of a second. Now Angel has pulled away about 2 3/4 of a second on Noah. As we show Leroy going off track, let's go back and take a look at Leroy. Oh, that's going to be a heavy, heavy impact. Oh my goodness, Leroy, the front end of that car is not happy with you right now. Yeah, just getting caught off that left rear tire just off in the grass cuts that car hard right, and that has put this car in bad shape. He is going to have to come in and pit, and now it shows him back crashing again. Yeah, just not able to turn that car. Oh, and he's going to spin it out once again. He might just kick this thing to the pits and call it done for the night. And that is what Leroy has done. $15 minutes to go. Season 1, round 12 here at Watkins Glen. We have pretty much crowned our champion there in Blake Scott. All he had to do was take the green flag probably last race. Didn't have to do anything this race, but he has still come out, put about 6.2 seconds on Mark there in second position. Mark not only firmly in second, but he's going to be firmly in second position in the points. Jeff Perchowski there, the only person that could challenge him is in 5th place, several seconds behind, about 22 seconds behind Mark. So as long as he hits those marks, Mark will be your 2nd place driver, with Jeff finishing this series out with 3rd place. I'll tell you, you could tell Trevor, while I was talking, getting a little loose through that S's on the back end of this track. And I'll tell you, he is up on the wheel, driving this thing as hard as he can. 14 minutes now left to go. He does not want Kurt to get to the back end of him. And I'll tell you, one of those things about Kurt is he will stalk somebody and really put a ton of pressure on him, as he is doing with Trevor. Trevor not able to take a breath or a break, as Kurt just there. Any sort of mistake by Trevor, and Kurt will take that position back over. Trevor knows that. Kurt inching closer. As you can see him now, only about 0.4 of a second behind him. We do have a battle here for your 11th place. We're going to go back and take a look. Josh Perrin is going to go around Rory, and he is going to take over that 10th spot. I thought Rory might have been going down the pits, but he did not. So just pulling over and let Josh Perrin go by. Josh is now going to take that 10th position over. Noah Zimmerman up the track about 42 seconds, so I don't believe that he's going to have any problems. You can see Blake right behind these drivers, so it won't be long before these drivers are looking at a lap down. Wade Moskowitz back here on the back end of Mark Szymanczyk. Wade, as we talked about before, a ton of pace with this driver. He is still in front of Jeff. Jeff is in 5th. Wade now starting to track down Mark. As you can see him now just a half a second in front of him. And that is going to be for 12th position. Again, these drivers a lap down, but still battling for a spot. Both these Porsches battling as hard as they can. Wade getting in that wreck early. Mark getting in that wreck early. So both of these drivers bound to find each other on this track before the end of this thing. I tell you, Mark has had some fantastic runs. He has had a podium finish. Wade with some great runs. I believe about 2 races ago, picked up a podium position. We were able to have a conversation with him. Great to see these drivers finishing this season out strong. 15 drivers taking the field here for this last race. Looks like Trevor now starting to pull away from Kurt as we give you this update here for the 3rd position. Starting to pull away that gap now, 1.6, 1.7 seconds. Looks like Kurt had a pretty tough lap, a 46.4 last lap to Trevor's 45.8. So that is where most of your gap has come from here. Now Kurt in serious trouble because he does not have the draft of this Acura to help pull him in down these straightaways. He is going to have to do this on sheer pace alone. I'll tell you what can we say about this driver? Blake Scott here leading the way right on the back end of Josh Perrin, looking to put him a lap down as we now have about 10.5 minutes to go in this race. We would be remiss if we didn't have a conversation about Blake Scott putting up the most wins here this season. I believe this is going to be win number 9 on the season out of 12 races for him. Just some fantastic racecraft. Fantastic pace by this driver. He has had just as many poles as he has had wins. A couple little slip-ups, or it might have been a perfect season for him. Really coming out here and showing dominance in this Mustang, as well as Mark in 2nd position. struggling there in the rain, as we saw Miles have a fantastic run there at Indy in the rain, a spin at Long Beach, and Mark was able to get by him. So this would be his 9th win so far this season. Kathy said Blake was 6 years old and checking his grandfather's tire pressure on a 67 911s. Yeah, and that's just really where that passion gets you. And a passion about cars and a passion for racing never leaves you. And it doesn't matter if you are a spectator or you're a driver. If you love cars and you love motorsports, and there's a difference. Oh, and it does look like, just right in front of him, Josh Perrin going around, Blake having to make an aggressive move over to the right-hand side to miss him. It would not be the end of a season if there wasn't just a little bit of excitement. Josh just under braking, looping that thing around. But, there are really two different people that love, and you can love everything, but there are those that really love motorsports, and that's big cams, big horsepower, racetracks, roll bars, roll cages, MSD boxes. And then there are those that love the restoration part of it and having beautiful, shiny cars, and you can love them both. But my goodness, once you get motorsports in your blood, it's really hard to get out of it. And when it becomes a family affair, people talk about armchair quarterbacks, but you have armchair racers where they get together and that's all they talk about is being able to race these cars. And this is the closest thing that you get to it on a Monday night. Is being able to sit down in a sim rig with triple screens wrapped around you and feeling like you're in the cockpit of a car. And this driver has done it better than most throughout this year. Being able to take this Mustang on a journey around America, winning everywhere that he goes. And I will tell you, probably this gentleman here, Mark Scott, having one of the more adventurous seasons that I have seen a driver in a long time. Ton of pace everywhere that he goes. But, man, he has been bit by, some pit road bugs, some wrecks. I mean, he has had a tremendous time, this season. He is going to be able to pull off, if everything holds true here for the next 7 minutes, a second place finish to his son. And I can tell you, if there's one person that would love to finish second, that's going to be Mark finishing second to his son, because there's nobody that's a bigger champion for Blake Scott than Mark Scott here, watching his son pick up another win and the championship. Trevor sitting firmly now in third position. We've seen a lot of growth out of Trevor this season as well as we continue to go through this field now with about 6.5 minutes to go. Trevor and his team picking up that 12-hour Sebring win, really big accomplishment for him last week, but finding a lot of pace. He has had a lot of pace in this Acura throughout this season, but I believe one of the things that I've seen is the consistency of Trevor O'Neill has really gotten better throughout this year. He's always had his tracks he's been quick at, but he has been faster and faster and faster at every single track that we have went to this season. So one, he's putting the time in, and two, he's really starting to learn this Acura, really understand these GT3 cars and how to get these things around the track. Kurt there in fourth position. He has not been without some drama this year too, but has always been extremely steady, has done a fantastic job driving this Porsche around. Again, this is the blue and white Porsche that we always see. He has done a great job this year. I believe he is going to wind up, I will check the points. I think he's going to wind up about fifth, maybe even fourth in the points now. Let's see if we can go and take a look at where he is. Kurt is sixth right now. He is going to pick this up because Miles is not going to be running with us tonight. So I do think that he is going to be able to pick up that fifth position in points. But just a fantastic inaugural season here for Kurt. Jeff Perchowski come out. He's not a big league racer. Decided to come out and run this league. He hasn't done a ton of GT3s, more of a prototype. look for this driver to put on quite the show in the LMPs next season when they start running the prototypes along with these GT3s, because that's normally what he runs. But coming out, run these GT3s, really put on some great performances throughout this season. Daniel Sheffer sitting here in 6th position. Daniel's done a great job. Again, you know, Daniel has been really one of those drivers that when he gets his tracks that he really loves, he shows a ton of pace. So next year, I believe he is really going to be dedicated to being consistent through all of these tracks. Manuel, he has been kind of hit or miss coming into running with us. I believe, Manuel, let me see how many races Manuel has started this year. Manuel has started 5 races, so this is going to be race number 6 for him, but he has always shown a great racecraft out here on the track and shown a ton of pace, so he has done a great job. Angel Rodriguez has been here every single race this year, always in the top 10, doing an amazing job once again in the top 10. He is in a battle, a heated battle here for 8th position with Noah Zimmerman. Noah starting to sneak back in now at 0.6 of a second. So we're going to stick to this battle as now we only have, folks, 3.5 minutes left in this race. And we will call season 1 in the books here at the All-American Racing Series. Noah giving it everything he has. He is now in the draft solely of Angel. He is coming down to this bus stop, starting to take a look on the right-hand side. Angel with a great job running through this bus stop, getting a little bit of a gap. Both these drivers in the exact same car, trying to get these McLarens around this track. Fighting for that 8th position. Angel really this entire year has just been so consistent everywhere that he has went. Noah's had some fantastic runs as well. Noah normally in that white McLaren, which he probably is again if we had our trading paints working. It does look like the service is still down for us iRacers, so we do without. Noah still blinking just a little, but starting to close in ever so slightly here on Angel. That gap now only 0.3 of a second. We're going to keep an eye on that. Please take a look at that on the timing tower if you were sitting there watching them. But I want to spend the last lap and a half here with this driver of Blake Scott. He doesn't get a ton of time. He kind of gets the what we call the Max Verstappen, which is, you know, when you're out that far and you're not really racing anybody, then we go to those that are racing. But has done just a fantastic job. Those Aerokinetics Mustangs have really been dominant this season. What else can you say other than, you know, when he notches this win here, and this is going to be your white flag coming up, he is going to notch his 9th win on the season. We have talked to him countless amounts of times. Again, we have been to some tricky tracks, some wet tracks, some night tracks, some hot tracks is where we're at today at 105 degrees here at the Glen, as he is flashing lights not only to celebrate this win, but to celebrate a championship here at the All-American Racing Series. Coming through this bus stop one last time. These drivers will take about 4 weeks off, get a little quick vacation, and then they will be right back with you. More information to come. It will be broadcasted on YouTube. You will get information on the broadcasting team that will now be showing that season 2 as soon as Cody gets all of that finalized. Some fantastic things to come, as they are now going to take this show on the road and travel around the world to some different places, some different tracks, get these drivers some more time together. This gentleman really taking this parade lap, enjoying himself. Letting Mark close back in now at about 4.5 seconds behind him. I'm sure he, at the end of this season, is going to want to get close, let his dad get right beside of him as they're going to cross this start-finish line. We talked about this generational Scots. Fantastic job. Blake Scott coming across this line. Mark Scott right beside of him. And there you have it, not only your race winner tonight, but your winner for the series championship. Blake Scott, Mark Scott coming in second place. Trevor O'Neill is going to come in third. And there you have it. Let's let this gentleman go over here and celebrate. Kathy saying congratulations to the Scott men and to all the racers. Absolutely. What a fantastic run this season. 12 races in the books. My goodness. All of these drivers really respectful out here on this track. Not beating each other up, not wrecking each other. Just good, hard-nosed racing. We have had some amazing battles throughout this year. And this has been no different. And let's see if we can get some of these drivers in, as I am going to be quiet and let these drivers really talk themselves through this series, this season. And let's see who we've got up here in the waiting room. Yeah, it really was a fantastic season. Fantastic season. Let's see if we can pull some of these drivers up. As I do see Mark there. I don't see Trevor or anyone else here in the... Oh, there we go. We've got Blake and Mark. Let's see if we can find Trevor. I'd like to go to third and then to second and first. There we have it. All right, let's see if we can pull Trevor into the waiting booth. All right, Trevor, this is John Ross here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Hey, man, so fantastic season. I'm not going to belabor it. It was a fantastic run tonight there. A good little battle with you and Kurt. But I'm just going to turn it over to you, Trevor, and really let you talk about your season and how everything went and what we look forward to here for season 2.
Yeah, appreciate it. I want to say thanks to everyone, you, Cody, all the admins, the rest of the drivers in the league, friends, family, everyone. Thanks for supporting. It's been an awesome time. First league race myself, and definitely set high expectations. So if I do any other leagues in the future, they're going to have some high expectations and big shoes to fill. But awesome time. This race was, I didn't have a lot of practice time. We had Sebring this last weekend, and shout out to Cody and Josh and the rest of the guys. We placed first there in the GTP, and that was an awesome time. But that took up a lot of time from us being able to get ready for this. So today was really the majority of the practice. Got faster through the laps here. Mark and Blake did awesome. They did solid laps there. Kurt had an awesome battle. Probably for the first half, I had a little damage. That's why I pitted early to try to get a little head start on the pack there, and it paid off in the end. And yeah, it was a great race, and kudos to everyone, and enjoyed the camaraderie and everything. Really look forward to season 2. Oval Series coming up, going across overseas with GT3 and LMP2s, so that's going to be a great time. And John, want to say thanks for broadcasting. Definitely going to look forward to racing with you in the future as well.
Heck yeah. So, we talked about that a little bit. We previewed a little bit of season 2, and I know you're super involved in everything that's going on, and we're not going to let all of the information out, but I can tell you it is going to get real spicy as we're going to bring some prototypes in. And like you said, they're going to go oval racing too. So a lot more information to come throughout these next 4 weeks as they take a little hiatus. but these drivers will be right back here racing once again. And like you said, you're going to actually take this show on the road and go overseas to some tracks there. So fantastic third place finish. Great job in the first season here with the All American Racing Series. Trevor, thank you. We certainly appreciate it.
Thanks. You have a wonderful day.
You too. All right, so we're going to drop him out, and I'll tell you what we're going to try to do. I'll tell you, we're going to bring both of these Scott gentlemen up here in the booth. Mark, this John in the booth. You got a copy?
I do got a copy, John.
All right, I'm going to do something a little bit different here, Mark. I'm going to bring Blake on in the booth with us too, and we're going to do this 2-for-1.
Bring him up in here.
All right,
the kid deserves it.
All right, Blake, this is John in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, John.
Hey man, so we obviously know all the accolades. We talked about both of you guys all the way throughout this season and this series. Blake, I believe that's win 9 for you, and Mark, that's probably your 9th second place. But just a fantastic job by both of you guys. Blake picking up the series championship here in season 1 at the All American Racing Series, and I certainly appreciate that. Great accolades all the way around. But the other thing I want to talk to you about is Mark, you sent me a message a little bit earlier, and unfortunately, Trading Paints was not working for us tonight.
I could see that.
Yeah, but we did a little tribute anyway, and I want to bring both of you up as Mark, and we'll let you go first here. Talk about the generational things here for the Scotts, what this means to you, not only as a father, but as a second place finisher here in this series, and just walk me through your night this season and what the future is going to hold for you.
Well, first off, this season was amazing, man. Thank you, John and Cody, for putting all this together. Your broadcasting amazing. Cody did an incredible job with the league. All the racers were amazing. Had such a good time racing with all of them. And yeah, just, I grew up at the racetrack. My dad was racing Porsches when I was, 9, 10 years old. And that's where I grew up. Riverside Raceway, Laguna Seca, Holtville, all these podunk tracks all over California where, aren't even there anymore. A lot of them aren't. And Blake did the same thing. I started racing cars, and Blake was in the pits, changing my tires, bleeding my brakes, putting air in my tires, talking to me on the radio while I was racing. So I know my father would love to see Blake and I taking 1 and 2, because back when my dad and I raced, him and I were always battling. So I know my mom's watching this, and she's probably got a couple tears in her eye. But yeah, it's been a great season racing with my son. The kid's amazing. He's fast. Yeah, looking forward to season 2 and LMP2s. Looking forward to that. Blake and I won Daytona 24 in that car a couple years ago. The two of us did the whole 24 hours by ourselves. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can tell you, just with the emotion that you have going on here, Mark, I can tell you, my father and I are the exact same way. I grew up, my father was a drag racer, and I grew up drag racing, and I'll tell you, he's still around with us, and we started to go to dirt tracks, short tracks around Middle Tennessee, and we ran for a decade. And I tried to get him on the sim. He never really wants to do it. He's not that he's not great on a PC, but I will tell you, it's one of those things that has bonded us for life. And you just don't know the power of it unless you're, a really father-son, father-daughter combo that shares that same passion for cars, and it unites you, and it united you two here this season. And we were happy to broadcast it, to show really what it takes for a father-son to come out with great love, great passion, and great competition. So, man, congratulations to you for a second place. Blake, anything you want to add to that, sir?
Yeah. This season's been awesome. Again, thank you to yourself and Cody putting on these broadcasts, and Cody putting on the league each week. It's so fun to go back and watch. But just want to, I guess, dedicate this championship to my grandpa up there. He and my dad taught me everything I know about racing, so it's only it's all coming full circle. But he would love this. He would actually compete with us on the sim too. So he would have done well in the league. So yeah, just thinking of him tonight, and this one's for him.
I don't want to interrupt John, but I want to tell you real quick. The whole family got together one Christmas, and we all bought my dad a full-on sim rig, triple monitors, Moza wheel,
Yeah.
Moza base, the full cockpit, and he's probably 79, 80 at the time, and up until 83 years old, the guy was on the sim just turning laps a couple tenths behind me, and he loved it. He'd sit there. My mom hated it. Well, I don't know. She hated it at first, but then she loved it because she got a lot of time to just relax. But yeah, it was. He loved driving on the sim, and he would always get in like a ghost car during our races and drive with us. And he'd set up for the whole Daytona 24 by himself on his sim rig, watching us and being our spotter for 24 hours. So the man was committed, and I know he's up there watching right now. So it's cool, man. It's so much fun racing with my son and doing all this. So
Yeah.
thanks again, everyone.
Yeah, and like I said before, man, we were really happy to be a part of it. You guys should be extremely proud here. This is a family win. This is a family moment. That's why I wanted to bring you both up here. You both have a ton to be proud of. Congratulations for everything you accomplished here, everything you're going to accomplish in the future. And we were certainly happy to have you here as champion and second place here in this league.
Blake and I have been trying some ovals. We're looking forward to some oval racing. It's a lot of fun.
It's coming up. It's coming up.
Yeah.
Anytime you want to get an oval, I'll be happy to run with you.
Oh man, let's do it, man.
Yeah.
We've been doing trucks at Daytona, and yeah, it's been a blast.
That's fantastic. All right, guys, I'm going to let you get back down and celebrate. Congratulations once again, not only on your win tonight, on your championship, Blake, and Mark on your second place in the championship and tonight.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, John.
All right, we are going to talk to one more gentleman. That's going to be Jeff Perchowski. He's going to be your third place driver in the championship. We're going to move him up here to the booth. Jeff, John Ross here in the booth. You got a copy?
What's going on, John? Good to talk to you.
Yeah, you as well, buddy. So here you are, man, and I think I talked about this a little bit on the broadcast. We talked a little bit earlier, and you said, man, I don't really, run a lot of leagues, and I'm more of a prototype guy, but I wanted to get in here and give this thing a shot. It looked like fun. We know you from another team that you race with. Man, we're happy to have you. And what success coming out in this vet and really showing what that Corvette was able to do this year, coming home in third in the points.
Yeah. Yeah, I really appreciate those words, man. Yeah, it was a really fun season, I have to admit. I was pleasantly surprised with how competitive the racing was, how clean the racing was, and how much I enjoyed it, really. I think I told you, 3 or 4 races in, I was like, these races really take everything out of me. But you need those kind of moments, I think, to really appreciate when you are doing well and you are successful, and when you're successful in a new car and in a new kind of driving experience. So that was my experience with the GT3 and the Corvette this year. Um, I can't say enough kind words about Cody for putting on the league, you for doing the great broadcast, and everybody else for racing me hard and clean. Like I was saying before, great schedule, great group of guys. Um, wouldn't change a lot about how things went. Had Obviously there's a little bit of luck involved here and there, but just happy that the luck more or less evened out over the course of the season. 12 races is long enough, I think, to do that. And it was super cool seeing a lot of underdog stories throughout the year. Miles Gilshinter getting a win in Indy Roval in the rain. Like that's can you believe that? Other guys having good runs here and there at tracks that they're really strong at. So I think that having a season that long with a good variety of tracks really brings out the opportunity for those moments, and I enjoyed all of it. I was really happy with just being there every race, having a consistent run, having clean runs. I'm not somebody that goes out and tries to win every race or rack up a bunch of wins while making other people upset or anything. I just go out there, run my race, and try and get a little bit better. Like you said, you've noticed people are noticing just because my situation not being able to practice a whole lot throughout the rest of the week. I'm just focused on getting a little bit, 1% better a lap, 1% better a pit stop, 1% better per pass. Just incremental improvements everywhere I can, and that's not just going to make me better. That'll make my teammates on the Bean team better when we go back and we start practicing for these next endurance races. So just can't thank you guys enough. This was an awesome experience, and set out to get a podium and did exactly that. So can't complain at all.
No, and it really has been a fantastic season. And like you said, 12 races is a really good number because you feel like you've been through battle. And but it hasn't been so long that it's just been daunting. And you certainly put on a show. I think we talked about it several times how you just got faster and faster every single race. And this race was
Yeah.
no different out here and in these GT3s. And I believe I talked about on the broadcast too, where you've kind of quietly become a lover of this Corvette. And I ran this Corvette in the Sebring 12 hour and absolutely loved it too. So congratulations to you on third place. If anybody wants to see Jeff run, Jeff, I'll turn it over to you, let you give your shout outs, but go ahead and give your Twitch out too, because you can hop on anytime and watch Jeff run as he does these endurance events for the Bean team.
I appreciate that alley-oop, John. Yeah, I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/InJeffWeTrust. I actually streamed this race as well. This is the first time I streamed a race in this league this year, just because I thought it'd be fitting. Final race of the season, trying to lock up a podium spot. But you can check out me there. You can check out our teammates on the Bean team. We have an Instagram account, the Bean Team Official on Instagram. We have all our endurance race updates there, paint schemes, real life racing stuff. We got some guys that race real life. All that stuff is there. We got, my co-owner of the team, Christian Boss 13. He broadcasts there. He races there almost every day. If you like road, oval, anything, he runs it all. And just really, really thank you to the Bean team again. I know I sound like a broken record, but they're the reason why I come out and do these leagues is to try and get better, to try and get better for them, to try and improve myself, and to have those experiences where you're out of your comfort zone. And if nothing else, you get a little bit better each lap, a little bit better each race, and put on a good show for the fans. The reason why I do these as well is just to, first, the motivation for, iRacing at all for me was just to see myself race. I was so amazed that people actually cared enough to broadcast races and to show broader communities, hey, like these guys are talented. And for me, I mean, the reason why I stream, the reason why I run these races is I love to go and like selfishly, pretend that I'm, actually a driver and going and watching my races back and have my family watch my races, my friends watch my races. And that's really those experiences and putting myself in situations where I can do that and also, impress myself with how well I run in unfamiliar cars and tracks and, get the most out of equipment that might not, or tracks that might not be as familiar to me with a little bit of practice. That's what I love doing. I love jumping into new stuff. I love trying new things. I love seeing myself and reliving those great moments. If nothing else, what I want you and everyone to take away is I hope that I made the broadcast a little bit more exciting when it's all said and done, and you guys say, hey, well, that was a really exciting year. I had some great battles with Kurt and Miles and some other guys in the points, but also in specific races. And I'm just really hope that I made everyone's experience with this a little bit better. That's all I hope for when I contribute to anything like this. So thanks to all those guys. Thanks to you again, John, and hope that I can race with you guys again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do have only a 4-week break, and then they will be back for a season too, Jeff. And as you know, prototypes are coming. So I know that is your bread and butter, and I know you're extremely excited about that. And then we're going to go on the road, and I think we're going to do a little bit of racing abroad. So it was certainly been a blast to watch you. I have loved calling those battles and broadcasting those battles with you and Kurt and Miles and Trevor and all of those guys that and even Blake and Mark that we have called this year. And you've done a fantastic job, represented your team and yourself very well. Congratulations on your third place finish in this season.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it, man.
Sure.
Take care.
Thanks, Jeff. All right, folks. So there you have it. That is the end of season 1 in the All-American Racing Series. We will be back. We are going to take about a 4-week break, and then the broadcast will be kicked right back up. It is going to be renamed here as your Slipstream Racing Alliance, so make sure that you look for that on your broadcasting on YouTube. These same drivers will be back with you in action, and even some additional drivers as they are going to take this over to the oval side as well. I appreciate everything. I appreciate everyone that's been out there in the chat keeping me company throughout this season. Certainly have appreciated calling and broadcasting this season with everyone. Thank you very much for your support, and we will talk to everyone soon.